The Justice Society of America will be introduced in Dwayne Johnson's 2021 DCEU film, Black Adam. In speaking with a website called Screen Rant at the end of 2019, Johnson said that, quote, "We will introduce you to that, the world to JSA." Let's talk about it. Before we start though, I do want to say thank you, whether it's your first time here or you're back for more, for watching the channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss all of the content we upload each and every week, just like this. Let's jump into the video. Now first, a little background. The Black Adam film is going to be set in the 1950s, 1960s era, as it should be a prequel to 2019's Shazam film. If you remember the beginning of Shazam, it took place in the mid-1970s, with the Wizard needing to find a new champion. This is presumably not too long after Black Adam lost the role of champion. The Wizard even referred to this briefly in talking with Billy Batson at one point, so that lines up from a chronological perspective. It also makes sense, as this is when the Justice Society of America really came into its own in the comic book source material, in a magical age of nuclear power and wonder called the Silver Age. The Justice Society is the first superhero team to ever form within the pages of comic books. It was All-Star Comics number 3 in 1941 which saw them debut, predating even that of the earliest of Marvel Comics superhero teams. It's a team that would help spurn on the superhero genre, and which would go on to inspire the creation of other teams like the Justice League of America, which used many of the Golden Age JSA team's members. The Golden Age is an age, a time period if you will, from 1938 until about the mid-1950s, which saw the rebirth of the superhero genre to align more with the brand new Comics Code Authority, and the transition away from the likes of horror and wartime genres. And this is what grew into the Silver Age that I mentioned. The Golden Age team consisted of Dr. Fate, Hourman, the Spectre, the Sandman, the Atom, Jay Garrick's Flash, Alan Scott's Green Lantern, and Carter Hall as Hawkman. It was a massively powerful team full of magic and might, of speed and light. It was later revealed after the Flash of Two Worlds story broke open the Multiverse concept in 1961 that the Justice Society of America is actually from an alternate Earth, an Earth called Earth 2. If the DCEU takes this cue for the story, it would explain why the likes of Wonder Woman, Superman, Shazam, and Batman have never heard of nor mentioned this particular team. If you remember, in Shazam, there were all these doors opening to all these different realities. And in all those different realities, one of those could be Earth 2. For reference, the DCEU is Earth 1, and JSA, like I said, is on Earth 2. Crossing between worlds worked well on the CW for the Arrowverse, and it could be worked into the theatrical story as well by way of something like Ezra Miller's Flash and something akin to Flashpoint, which by the way is set to move forward and was supposed to actually start in April of 2020 before current events got in the way. Later additions to the Justice Society of America included Helena Wayne as the Huntress. The Huntress of Birds of Prey is Helena Bertinelli, a different version. Another was Star Spangled Kid. The first version of Star Spangled Kid in the Golden Age was a male named Sylvester. The later version, the one I'm talking about here, and the version we will see on the DC Universe streaming service, is actually a female, and her government name is Courtney Whitmore. We also saw added in Kara Zor-L in All-Star Comics number 58 in the mid-1970s, a wildly popular hero, and one of my favorites, mind you, named Power Girl. Both Mikey Sutton and myself agree that Power Girl will in fact be a part of the JSA team and will run through the roster as we believe it to be at this point at the end of the video. Another addition was Red Tornado, the grandfather of a newer hero named Cyclone, and we'll talk about her too in a moment. All of this continuity, however, was wiped away in the 1980s when Crisis on Infinite Earths collapsed the DCU multiverse down from 52 Earths to just 1. Eventually they came out of this crisis, but then quickly died during Zero Hour, with only Jay Garrick and Alan Scott surviving. It took the next generation to pick up the mantle and carry the team forward. There were a wave of new additions to the roster in this new post-crisis DC world, and these are important as some of them are relevant to our discussion. In JSA, Black Canary and Starman were added in the second issue. Stargirl was added in issue 4 along with Hector Hall as Dr. Fate, and Hawkgirl was added there as well. Black Adam was added in issue 21, and Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, was added in the 37th issue of that volume, and this seems to be the most likely team that will appear in the Black Adam film, coupled of course with roots in the original team, given that this is the team that Black Adam himself was a part of. He started off as a villain and a foe to the JSA, but then went from heel to face and helped them fight the Injustice Society. This would be perfect and would give his character a great way to have a lot of growth and development, and which would evolve Dwayne's character from villain to hero, so that when he meets up with Shazam and Henry Cavill's Superman in Shazam 2 a few months after the theatrical release of the Black Adam film, they'll be able to meet, potentially, as friends. Maybe misunderstood at first, but they will ultimately be friends. Dwayne's character will go from ruthless aggression of an anti-hero to a hero. In 2006, Jeff Johns wrote a third volume of Justice Society of America, which was actually a continuation of JSA, the title we were just talking about. Green Lantern, Flash, and Wildcat brought in others like Cyclone, I said I'd mention her later, Damage, Liberty Bell, Power Girl again, Hourman, and Dr. Midnight. Now, it's prudent to note that the Justice Society of America has actually had live-action appearances before. On Legends of Tomorrow, we got a team which is very similar to the team that will appear on the DC Universe Stargirl series. Vixen, Dr. Midnight, Stargirl, and others will comprise the team on the Stargirl series, so it's safe to presume that that team in that formation will be a different team that we'll see in Black Adam, as they don't tightly connect like Disney Plus does to the MCU. That's not shade, that's just a fact. There was even a two-parter on Smallville called Absolute Justice, which saw Carter Hall as Hawkman, Stargirl, Kent Nelson as Dr. Fate, Star-Spangled Kid, Icicle, and a couple others formed this iteration. My point for bringing these up is that this is a team that DCEU, Warner Brothers, whether it's comic books, animated, movies, live-action TV series, has long wanted to bring forward as a team, and it's their intention to continue to bring them forward, but now it's going to be their first time in a theatrical release. Now, compiling a host of rumors together based on this history and likeliness gives us a really good idea of what members the DCEU Black Adam version of the JSA will include in its roster. So here we go. Stargirl, Hawkman, Power Girl, Black Adam, Shazam, but later he won't be in the first film because he hasn't been found by the Wizard yet. Remember, it's 50s, 60s for Zach Levi's the hero. He will potentially be later. It'll also include Cyclone and Atom Smasher. And Hawkman, who will be on the team, will probably know of Black Adam as they both have their roots in Egypt of antiquity. Atom Smasher and Cyclone are often romantically linked, so there's a plot point there that we may visit. And then we have the obvious connection between Black Adam and Shazam himself. That's at least 6 characters, a full roster, lots of interconnectivity that can really fill up a 2.5 hour long movie. It could be a case where Black Adam goes up against the JSA and then ultimately has to join up with them to fight a common foe, perhaps the Injustice Society. This will be a first for a lot of them, so there does need to be time to develop and introduce these characters properly, assuming that they're the heroes. It's different than, say, Endgame, where most of the heroes, and there were a lot of them, and the villains are ones that we've met before, so we can get right to the action. We didn't need to spend a lot of time on backstory. According to an insider named Thomas Polito, we have a lot to look forward to with this script. I read parts of the Black Adam script, he said, and it's a DC fan's wonderland. Dwayne Johnson, taking a break from Instagram from his workout from his own Iron Wonderland, teased a future showdown with Cavill's Superman. And check out the video I made recently on that. Link is right here. And with that in mind, Dwayne also teased, quote, the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. I, for one, am really excited for this. Been a long time gestating. This movie's been a long time in development, and it sounds absolutely fantastic. And that's it for this one, my friends. Jump down to the comments and we'll continue the conversation down there. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be one of the first to know when I upload videos just like this each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.